guys, it's on Maxwell here and welcome to another TW video. We're into our tournament season and in the last week of October we are showcasing our tag teams in this episode. Get a 16 segment show. We're basically going from 4 fatal 4-way matches, 2 semi-finals and a final, and of course a big main event matchup with our main roster guys, our main eventers, just to try and get a good rating and gain some pop. So obviously last year the winners were the Motor City Machine Guns, or the Detroit Machine Guns in this save. They went on to challenge for the Tag Team Championships. They were unsuccessful. Of course now we've got a brand split, so there is 2 titles on the line. So the winners of this will get an opportunity at the tag titles of their choice. And as a little bonus match, I haven't put the tag champs in the tournament of each brand. They're going to square off in a 2v2 matchup to see who is the undisputed best tag team. So we'll kick on, guys. What I'll also say as well, if anybody's got any other ideas for any tournaments you'd like to see down the line, even any guys you feel like should be getting pushed as we continue on with the save, we'll certainly look to do that. As I say, still enjoying the save. I mean, I did start the save when the game came out, and here we are over a year onwards. So say any comments on the series, let me know. Any comments you're on saves, please let me know how you're getting on if you're still booking, who you're booking with, who's your main guys, who's carried your company. And as always, any likes, subscriptions, etc. are all deeply appreciated as well. So, without further ado, let's crack on to WWE Tag Team Invitational on the WWE Network. So we start off in front of 19,028 fans in the Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. We start off with Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. They're in the ring, and they are just hyping up the New Day's chances of becoming the best tag team. It's going to be Kofi and Xavier. But they're also running down the Usos, of course, Jimmy Uso, not their cousin Tonga Uso, but his relation, Camacho, who has returned to WWE. So it's basically a 4-man Samoan stable we're going to make between them. I'm going to change the name of it with them. But they're filming the New Day at the moment, so it's a bit of words between the New Day, just hyping up their chances. Xavier improving acting skills, crowd getting hotter, and a B+85 to start the show. So we begin with New Day in action. It was a decent matchup and it saw TM61 defeat the New Day, Catch Point and the Kofi brothers in 14-17 when Nick Miller defeated Mark Coffey with a shooting star press. A B-71, a bit of a shock in the opener with TM61 prevailing. A couple of good performances in there, the likes of Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods and Drew Gulak were the main performances here, the highest rated performance skills. A couple of increasing performance skills, rumble skills and technicals, so that's good to see as well from a couple of our wrestlers. And just a negative there of poor gimmick for Kofi and booking decisions, because we did have to protect the likes of Xavier Woods, so they would put TM61 over. But it's also about building tag teams for the future, so I feel like some of these tag teams getting wins over the likes of the New Day will boost them going forward. Second fatal 4-way matchup was a decent matchup that saw DIY defeat the All Night Express, Sudden Impact and Mexicano de Lucha in 15:02 when Tommaso Ciampa defeated Rhett Titus by pinfall with the Project Ciampa, or Ciampa even. B77, Flamita was off his game, great chemistry between the likes of Rhett Titus and Kenny King. Crowd got hotter from this. Poor performances from Flamita and Kalisto. I think I'm going to split them up and more than likely head them to 205 live. Good performances from Kenny King and Rhett Titus. Akuma Nero Boy were decent, and DIY did well as well. Couple of rumble skill improvements. Overall, a few negatives, but a good match nonetheless. So DIY into the semi-finals. Now at B82, About had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and the Young Bucks of course defeated Overkill, Gallows and Anderson and the Usos in 13:54 when Nick Jackson defeated Daichi Hashimoto by pinfall with a 450 splash. B82, absolutely solid. Overkill were obviously least over in this match, but great overness for the likes of the Young Bucks, the Usos and Gallows and Anderson. Of course, I haven't really used Gallows and Anderson this year, so they were a bit less than the rest. 87 from Jimmy though. Storyline advances just because the two Usos are together. Couple of performance skills, etc. Overall, one of our better tag team matches, and maybe with a bit more time, this could have maybe been a B+. But the Young Bucks are also into the semi-finals. And our final matchup was decent, and it saw the Revival defeat the Masters of Wrestling, Enzo and Big Cass, and the Vaudevillains in 14:31 when Dash Wilder defeated Sam Gotch with a full Nelson Slam. A B82 here, Vaudevillains pretty much being jobbed out. It's always good to have a team like that about. If I had another team to replace him in that role, Gotch would have been gone and would have maybe given Aiden English a singles push. But due to not having, as I say, another tag team to fill that role, I just want to keep them about, just so we've got teams that can be put over. So they'll be that team. But Hero with a great performance, Cesaro as well, Wilder 80, 74 for Scott Dawson, Enzo and the Vaudevillains with the poorest ratings. Overall, pretty happy with that. Scott Dawson continues to improve, and a few negatives there, mostly for Enzo and Simon Gotch. So your other team in the semi-finals, the Revival. We had the ladies on the show, because we always do need to have them on for the ratio of female to male athletes. It was a decent matchup, and it saw the sisterhood, it's Melissa, Nicole Matthews, and they were joined by Chris Wolf and Kellyanne English. Of course, Kellyanne English for a big push on SmackDown, and Chris Wolf, one half of the Shine Tag Team Champions, alongside the injured Dana Brooke, so a good push for her. And they defeated Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Mia Yim in 14:25 when yet again Kellyanne English defeated Charlotte with a roaring bicep. We're really getting behind Kellyanne as we try and get as many of these ladies over to the next level as possible. A B-Men of 76 is good. This was a storytelling match. Good performances from Mia Yim, Kellyanne, and Melissa. Bayley pretty poor, Becky pretty poor, and Charlotte pretty poor in the 60s. And of course Chris will just try to build her up slowly but surely. But I do feel we can get to a stage where these ladies will all be hopefully drawing 70 odd rated performances, and we can start getting these matches into high Bs, and possibly into As. So that is obviously the reason why, and a few negatives there you'll see from holding back, which will affect the overall rating. Next up, we had the confrontation between the two sets of tag team champions. Of course, they are the Rhodes brothers, Dustin and Cody, and of course AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, but they don't come to blows. They just get ready to start the match. So A90, Dustin didn't come out of it looking good. AJ looked like an absolute star. And the match itself was good. It was about that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and it did see AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels defeat the Rhodes brothers in 13:38 when AJ defeated Dustin with a springboard 450 splash. Dustin was a weak link because he's 50. Christopher Daniels was head and shoulders above everyone else because he hasn't had declining physical ability. B82, which is even more incredible when both the Rhodes brothers were off their game, but they had great chemistry. And 92 from Christopher Daniels is outstanding. AJ went 81, which would have been a 90, but he's had massive physical decline. He's in the top 5 decliners in the company as well, which is worrying because I would have loved to have pushed AJ to about 42, 43. But again, we'll just have to keep him in our tag division. And Cody, good performance. Dustin, not so much. But overall, good showcase for our tag team champions. Penalised as well for the short match length and because it was 2 heel tag teams. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with that. Into our semi-finals, decent matchup. DIY defeat TM61 in 13:37 when Johnny Gargano defeated Nick Miller by pinfall for Hearts Donut. Good matchup there. Gives a good showcase to TM61. DIY advanced to the final, so looking good for them. And yeah, no negatives there really, apart from Tommaso's poor gimmick. But yeah, pretty happy with that. And she's given new tag teams an opportunity rather than the same old usual champions and teams contending. Our second semi-final had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Young Bucks defeated Fuck the Revival in 14:15 when Nick Jackson defeated Scott Dawson with a 450 splash. Matt Jackson carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. He had an 88 to Nick's 77, so maybe we split the Young Bucks up at one point down the line. It's possible, but 4 good performances there. Matt, of course, with the best performance of the lot. A B82 negatives here just for the short match length. So if that could have been a 20-minute match with a storyline behind it, we could have been looking at something sick. We haven't really had a Young Bucks Revival feud as well. Do we maybe see that one day down the line? But after the match, of course, the Young Bucks are celebrating, and of course, because of the whole Fuck the Revival shit, the Revival turn round and they beat the crap out of the Young Bucks. So B plus 83 for the Revival beatdown as we get ready for the Young Bucks versus DIY in the final. And the matchup was not the greatest, it was a B minus 75. I do feel the lack of storylines probably going to cost this. But it was about they had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. DIY defeat the Young Bucks in 15:29 when Johnny Gargano defeated Nick Jackson by pinfall using a foreign object, meaning that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are your new WWE Tag Team Invitational champions. So they will host the trophy aloft. They'll get a championship match whenever they wish for the Tag Team Championships, whether that be on Raw or on SmackDown, so they could make a jump to the other brand. Ciampa was off his game, 88 for Matt Jackson, 82 for Nick, a 78 for Gargano, and a 71 for Ciampa. And yep, the lack of hot associated storyline. So if these were actually in a feud, I believe that would have drawn a good B, maybe even a B plus there. But yeah, hopefully it gets DIY a good push, a good opportunity to gain a lot of overness. And I feel I've neglected them a lot in this save, and now this is going to be their chance to shine. So the winners, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, a B plus 84 as they celebrate in the ring. Main event time, as I say, just so we can get a good rating, because I feel that matchup's going to hinder us a good bit. So, of course, if we're being hindered, we need some gender. So, Dean Ambrose cuts a promo hyping a matchup with Roman Reigns. Big feud going down between Roman and Dean after Roman Reigns obviously challenging Jinder Mahal for the championship. Basically laughed off Dean Ambrose, saying he can get the job done, just leave it to me. Dean Ambrose turning, and the turn has just got Dean Ambrose over like nothing else. So Jinder and Dean will team up to take on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins going forward, but this matchup should be good in the main event. A lot of our wrestlers involved, including Raw and SmackDown superstars, so a good chance to mix them. But that's just the storyline they've got going at the moment. And the main event match, A91, it was an exceptional matchup, and it saw Rusev, Jinder Mahal, Dean Ambrose and Samoa Joe defeat Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Austin Aries and Kota Ibushi in 27:55 when Dean Ambrose defeated Seth Rollins with a headlock driver, again just putting that push on Dean Ambrose because he's really getting over, and as I say, he got Jinder Mahal over to the level he is, so it's time to repay some faith to Dean Ambrose. So A91, happy with that, a lot of good performances there, and 91 for Kota, 93 for Austin Aries, 95 for Roman Reigns. Seth obviously has been quite poor in terms of overness, so he's only an 85. So we're going to work to build him back up after his feud with Drew McIntyre, I should say. 87 for Rusev, but 94 Jinder, 92 Samoa Joe, and 95 for Dean Ambrose. So a couple of skill improvements there. Darcy will have a few negatives for inconsistencies. And we finish the show with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose getting some retribution over Mahal and Ambrose by putting them through tables in former Shield kind of way. So A91, 3 good performances from Reigns, Ambrose and Jinder Mahal. Hopefully again we'll get Seth to that level, but maybe he just needs taking away from the main event scene because he's been there with Corbin, he's been there with Orton. Maybe he just needs that little bit back down the card. So overall, the feeling this was going to happen, disappointing B81. It's nowhere near a B81, it would be a lot higher. Because of the pushes they've got, it's claimed they've used the likes of Tommaso Ciampa, Nick Miller, Shane Thorne, Johnny Gargano and Nick Jackson, more than we should have, because we've obviously given them at least 30-40 minutes of action, so that's a bit of a negative. So overall, it would have been a good show. It's still okay at a B81, but realistically we should be aiming a little bit higher. So thankfully we don't lose any pop, but we don't gain any, which is a bit disappointing. But it gives you a showcase of the tag teams we've got in our divisions. As I say, it just shows, down the line we'll see something for TM61. It's the fact we've still got Gallows and Anderson kicking about. And as I say, showing that we're going to have big things ahead for the likes of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. So we'll just give them, as I say, the encouragement. We'll just point them out as a good example because they're the champs. So Ciampa pleased, Gargano pleased. So I'd say it's a good bit higher rating than we actually got there, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It just means we'll maybe try and make it lesser matches. So maybe when I'm doing the women's one, we'll take the hit with that, or we'll try and make it the main event consisting of all women who are main eventers, because obviously we've changed it from what it was previously, because we've integrated the division. So fans like the show, so that's good to see. New champions in Dragon Gate, Jake Hager, of course, Jack Swagger, winning that. Interestingly though, Ring of Honor have signed Zack Ryder. I just let him go. I just couldn't get him over, basically. So we'll let him go, try and prove his worth until it's a long save, because he's still engaged. He's engaged in this to Emma, which of course he's no longer with her. In real life, he's also with Chelsea Green now, or Laurel Van Ness. So yeah, we'll let him go and see what he does in Ring of Honor. If he impresses, we'll certainly look at bringing him back in. Ciampa's unhappy, so he wants a better push. Nick Miller wants a better push, so that's good to see. 36.65 on the network. Becky Lynch has a fan in Austin Aries, so that's good there for Becky. As I say, she's sitting now at 60 overness. We'll try and push her at 32. She's still got a good couple of years left in her. And Christopher Daniels likes Nicole Matthews, again someone I'm hoping to give a push. 32 years of age. As I say, the fact now she's involved in the Sisterhood, we'll see a good push for her alongside Abby Leith and Melissa. I think who else was in that stable, so that's cool. We'll move Tommaso Ciampa. In fact, we'll actually do that just now. So that was Tommaso Ciampa and Nick Miller, just to see how much overness they've gained through the tournament. So 48, that's not great for Nick Miller in terms of popularity. Well, he's gained 4. He's never really been over with the audience in this, so as I say, hopefully, if we can keep building them up and getting them some wins, they can go over, but it shows how stacked my roster is, the fact he is a mid-carder with 48 overness, and Tommaso, we'll see how the tournament affected him, so where are we? So he was a mid-carder, he is on 205 Live, so a good chance that he and Johnny will jump to Raw or SmackDown. There will be a lot of people leaving 205 Live, I do have a big storyline planned. Not to affect 205 Live, I just feel like some of these guys that are in the Cruiserweight division probably deserve to be on Raw and SmackDown and competing, maybe even moving into the Heavyweight division. More on that when it happens. But yeah, Tommaso up to upper mid-card. Roughly about 66-70 overness, and previously going into this tournament, he was 56. So he's gained 10 overness in the last couple of months, and through that tournament. So yeah, to an extent, I view that as a success. Things are going well, as I say, a lot of unhappy people as always, just folk not getting used. I'll just do the usual and give them all small little boosts, etc. Like so why Neville's unhappy is disappointing. Or because he was left off the Tag Team Invitational, so stupid little things like that, because he is of course now properly over, back as a main eventer on 205 Live. But we'll see, as I said, we'll fix the overness, we'll fix the happiness, there's plenty of money to give, you know, I've got 400 million in the bank. That'll probably drop to just under that when all the bills and all that come in, but we'll be fine. The main thing is, still enjoying the save, no massive push to get to international. National's fine, we're still a top company. We can hit national battles actually in 3 days' time, as soon as we hit November. Schedule going forward, as I say, next up will be the next tournament for us, which is probably going to be the War of the Women. So we'll do the Women's Tournament next week, and then of course the World Grand Prix, so that's your one with all your main event superstars. Just different schedule this time of year, just letting everybody see the full extent of the rosters, giving everybody an opportunity, and maybe build a few stars in the process, and then we'll kick on like the Survivor Series, onwards to Armageddon, TLC, maybe do a tribute to the troops this year, and then on to the Rumble. Toy with the idea when we get to around Mania, 4 weeks before, and I might just try and write out the full shows with the text commentary, but we'll see how time is, because I say this moment in time, around about that kind of time frame, as I say, if I get there September, October, I might be struggling for time due to work, which is already take up enough time as it is. And of course, the likes of all the new releases that will happen in the fall might take a bit of time away, but we'll see what happens, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So as always guys, cheers for watching. I will catch you hopefully next time for WWE War of the Women, as Sasha Banks aims to become the 2-time War of Women champion. Catch you next time. Bye bye.